on display up on the wall in the hallway upstairs. It's a bypass shock, and that's the shock that we developed and Ford spec'd on the Raptor. And that shock originated as a bike shock.
We had some really good questions on the last episode about how moto and truck suspension might influence the design of mountain bike suspension and vice versa. So I was able to actually have a conversation with Bill Brown, who is the Director of Engineering for bike suspension, and just talk about this unique intersection that Fox has between both the powersports side and the mountain biking side.
The powersports group, there's a team that sits here with us in Scotts Valley. We talk to each other a lot. We share a lab together, so we get to see the work each other are doing, share ideas, things we were experimenting with, concepts that we were studying to see if they had any validity. Their requirements are quite a bit different than ours. Even though they build dampers and we build dampers, you know, they're having to control a much heavier vehicle. You know, racing and winning's and a passion that we both share. That often fosters collaboration without even having to try. You know, you've been in our engineering lab, and you know, there's a bunch of dynos in there. You know, there might be a powersports guy working on the dyno right next to Ariel working on our shock dyno, and they'll get to talking about valve codes and what they're particularly going after with the dyno work that they're doing. Oftentimes that leads to a new path we might want to explore with a shock we're working on or something. The Float X2 and DHX2, there was quite a bit of collaboration there with powersports. We had powersports engineer working on that project with us. As we developed it in bike engineering, they were also developing theirs in powersports. And so that's a shock platform, a shock architecture that is not only found on bikes now, but also side-by-sides. We got it done in time so that Minar could try it out at the World Cup in South Africa. And I think he did one run on it and said he was going to race it. And we knew we were onto something at that point. Right, he won the world champs that year in South Africa on that shock. Some of the oils we run in our dampers come from powersports and the work they've done on different lubricants and different damping fluids. Surface finishes, you know, they do a lot of chrome-plated shafts. There are some real advantages there in terms of durability and friction. And we've started adopting some of that technology that they've developed there on their chrome-plated steel shafts. Kashima, right? I think that's a great example where we developed Kashima for our bike suspension product and quickly found uses for it, performance benefits of it in power sports as well. You know, they're heavier vehicles, but friction is still something that affects the performance of those vehicles and the grip at the tire. And so they spend as much time as we do studying friction and found advantages to the Kashima on their product for the dynamic sliding surfaces that they have. Powersports Group does quite a bit of environmental testing. And not that we don't, but their environmental requirements are broader than ours because of the vehicles that their product goes on. They've created some pretty elaborate environmental test chambers that can go around the product on the dyno, and some pretty creative ways to induce heat and cold temperatures into a shock. And we've adopted some of those techniques in our product just to test the limits of what our product's capable of. We work with customers like Ford, Toyota, Chrysler, John Deere, Honda. Right? These are customers that demand quite a bit in terms of quality and dependability. And that's shaped the way we procure our parts. A lot of our assembly tooling at the factory is designed to add quality into the product as it's being built. So a lot of the assembly tooling also checks and makes sure that certain key parameters, certain key characteristics for performance, for safety, for durability are being met while the product's being built. That's something that we've inherited from the powersports side that was required for doing business with Ford when we launched our product on the Raptor. You know, I think Bob said it first probably, is that we're never done. And that's a feeling that resonates with everyone here, I think. And whether that's with, you know, designing product, supporting race to make our racers faster, or in manufacturing to build product, we always want to be doing better. And we spend a lot of time defining what that is for us, and then we go achieve it.